Hey, welcome to my review of the Nike Ultrafly. I'm pretty excited about this shoe, excited to tell you about it. I've been a long time Nike fan. I've been running for about 30 years, and my first running shoes were the Nike Pegasus back in the day. And this is a really interesting shoe. From Nike's website, it talks about this being their first trail shoe with a carbon fly plate. Now, I'm sure you've read a lot about super shoes and how they're changing the running world. And there are a few companies that are delving into creating super shoes for the trail. And of course, Nike is leading out as one of those companies. I have heard a rumor that the second version of this shoe will be coming out this spring and rebranded as an ACG model. But for now, this is what we have, so I'm excited to tell you about my thoughts on this shoe. A couple of things from the Nike website. This is a lightweight, breathable vapor weave upper, and definitely feels lightweight. It actually feels kind of like a Dyneema or something. It's a really nice feeling, kind of high-end technical fabric. As I mentioned, it has a carbon fly plate. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it's layered between the ZoomX foam and the knit fabric wrapped midsole. The website says it gives it a propulsive feel, and I would agree with that. Like most trail shoes on the market, this does have a Vibram sole. So this is the Vibram light base outsole. The website says that it has exceptional traction, less weight, especially on inclines and in wet weather. I haven't tried this in wet weather, but I ran this shoe in the Tetons this week, did a 7-mile loop around Jenny Lake, and it felt really great. It has a flat bottom, so a minimized cross rocker, just for optimal stability, and there is some little bit of heel to toe rocker. A couple of other features. This trail shoe has an 8.5 millimeter heel to toe drop. So that's a little more aggressive than what the standard is. Many trail shoes have a 4 to 6 mil drop, but I am seeing drops get a little bit taller in the industry. Of course, you have shoe companies like Ultra who have a 0 drop platform, but even some of their shoes have some drop now. Just a few other features. I mentioned the ZoomX midsole. ZoomX is a really interesting type of foam. Every company's got a good foam, but from the ZoomX information that I've read, it's an energetic type of foam. It gives good energy return, and it's pretty light, pretty soft. It helps maximize speed, apparently, from the website. It's lightweight, comfortable. Again, a lot of their road runners have pioneered this. And it actually goes back to 2016. The Vaporfly 4% was a 2016 shoe that they ran, and they raced a marathon in 2 hours. 2 hours and 25 seconds. So anyway, this foam has heritage. And I think combining this foam with the light base sole on the bottom is pretty interesting. This is a lightweight shoe. It weighs in at 300 grams or 10.6 ounces, so it's a light shoe. This is meant to be a racing shoe. As far as looks go, I think it looks pretty cool. In fact, yesterday morning when I was running in the Tetons, some random hiker lady was like, "Cool shoes." So that's kind of fun. It's got this neat kind of foil sort of treatment here, Nike Trail Racing, and again, the Nike Vapor Weave logo here. A couple of cool details. This little checkerboard reminds me of old school Vans, which I of course love, and some nice kind of checkers here. So anyway, I think the shoe looks cool. This shoe was on sale. I bought this on Nike's website for about $150, $156, I think. Interesting detail here, this little tab and some reflective bits that look pretty cool, highlighted at night. So how does it run? The shoe runs really nice. It feels different from other shoes. It definitely feels kind of propulsive. You can feel that Nike carbon plate underneath. And it is a little bit of a stiff shoe, I will say, and maybe it needs some breaking in. But I definitely felt it on the trail yesterday on that 7-mile loop. It had actually very good rock protection, and I don't know if that's owing to the carbon fiber underneath the sole, but on lots of small rocks, it felt really good while maintaining really good trail feel. The heel-to-toe drop at 8.5 millimeters didn't feel overly aggressive to me. The other thing that I want to highlight is that the tongue has some really kind of nice padding features that are kind of lightweight and thin, but they really do the job. So I felt like I had pretty good heel lock on this, and it felt fast. Speaking of fast, there's a kind of a funny detail here at the bottom, designed to be fast AF, verified with buckles and FKTs. I'm assuming they're talking about buckles from 50 and 100 miles races, so that's kind of a nod to the group of racers that they're appealing to. I do know that the Ultra Trail Mont Blanc, in the last few weeks, there were new versions of this on the trail, and I think the winner of the Western States also is wearing a newer version of this shoe. So it's a great shoe. I'm pretty excited for the future of this shoe. The combination of the Vapor Weave upper, the Zoom foam midsole, and the light base, I feel like it provides a pretty stable platform. Nike doesn't recommend it really as like an everyday shoe, but I can see this continuing to grow the platform. I think it's a good looking shoe. It's different. I think it may not be of interest to you if you don't like loud colors, but it does come in 2 colors. There's a light blue one also. So that's it, my review of the Nike Zoom X Ultrafly. I think it looks great, and hope you get a chance to try it. Tell me when.
You're going.
Okay, let's wrap it up with some pros and cons of the Nike Ultrafly. First off, for the pros, the shoe is light. It feels light on your feet. At 8.5 ounces, it's a light shoe, and it feels light on your feet. You can barely feel that you're wearing it. It's also stable. The platform feels super stable underfoot in mixed terrain, on rocks, small rocks, large rocks, uphill and down, dirt, gravel, etc. It feels stable. Also, I think the looks are a pro. I think it's cool. I think Nike's pushing the envelope a little bit. It's probably not for everyone, but I think it looks cool. Looks a little bit different than a lot of stuff on the market today. Carbon. I think the carbon is a pro. Super shoes are getting a little bit of flack in the trail community because the carbon feels a little too stiff. I think this is iterative. I think this is a cool step forward for Nike. I'm looking forward to the next version. I don't think it's perfect yet, but I think they're stepping into a good realm. Lastly, with this shoe, I think you get a lot of Nike's advanced tech. That's pretty cool. They're putting their highest end products and product designers into this shoe. I think it's got a lot of good tech. All right, let's go to the cons. The shoe is stiff. It feels stiff underfoot. It feels stiff over rocks. I think that can be a pro, but it does feel stiff. I'm hoping it breaks in a little bit over time. Related, the cushion. It feels fairly soft, but it's a firm type of cushion despite this plush kind of Zoom X. It does feel like it's not your everyday shoe, and I think Nike says that. This is a race day shoe. And then lastly, it is kind of sock-like. My brother mentioned that, this was kind of like the Aqua socks. You can kind of see how my fingers would be like your feet in this shoe. So it's a very thin type of upper. It's a bit sock-like, so not a ton of support, but some people might like that. I did have good toe splay inside. I felt like I had plenty of room. So that's it. The Nike Ultrafly, I'm going to give it a score of an 8. Enjoy.